So for decades, Karen Bass has been presented as some community-focused public servant, right? But the real story, her story, starts long before City Hall. It begins in the shadows of the Cold War in Havana, Cuba. Yeah, you heard that right. Now, most Californians will never hear about this, but Bass actually traveled to Cuba at least 15 times during the 1970s and 80s on trips organized by the Vantes Brigade. Now, if you don't know who they are, this wasn't some peace mission or cultural exchange. This was a Marxist-Leninist organization handpicked by Fidel Castro himself. And what were they doing? They were designed to spread communist ideology, to destabilize democracies and indoctrinate young Americans, deliberately. Now, members like Karen Bass had to be vetted for ideological loyalty before they could even go. Sworn testimony from an undercover LAPD officer confirms that they were trained in guerrilla tactics, steeped in anti-American propaganda, and even taught how to make explosives. Now, Karen Bass herself admitted to attending Castro's speeches multiple times. She called him a charismatic man, literally praised him. And when he died, she publicly mourned, calling his death a great loss. Now, let that sink in for a bit, LA. This man oppressed, tortured, and executed political dissidents, and Karen Bass called him a great leader? Now, the brigade's impact didn't stop in Cuba because it spilled over into the U.S., inspiring homegrown terror like the M19, the first and only women-led domestic terrorist organization in U.S. history. Now, M19 quickly escalated, right, from robbery to bombings. They actually targeted FBI offices, foreign consulates, even the U.S. Capitol, and in 1983, they bombed the Capitol's North Wing. And one of the most infamous members was Susan Rosenberg, who was radicalized in Cuba through the same Vantes Brigade. She was caught with 740 pounds of explosives, sentenced to 58 years in prison, and later Clinton commuted her sentence. But after prison, Rosenberg became vice chair of what's called the Thousand Currents program. It's the fiscal sponsor of Black Lives Matter, or BLM. And the connection? Karen Bass was LA's chapter head at the same Cuban radical brigade that trained Rosenberg. So let's be clear. Karen Bass didn't just go to Cuba, she led the LA operation. And now she runs Los Angeles, a city that's quickly becoming unrecognizable, overrun by all the homelessness, the crime that's surging, and now we're seeing these ICE raids, and we're seeing what's taking place with law enforcement's hands being tied. And Karen Bass, she's inciting it with new statements. She's defying federal law enforcement. She lights the match and watches the whole thing burn down. But this isn't just some accidental mismanagement. This is the playbook. This is what communists do. They infiltrate, they destabilize, and then collapse from within. It's called ideological warfare. So the question isn't just how did she become mayor? It's this. Why has she not been arrested? Why isn't the FBI, the DOJ, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, or Dan Bongino investigating this? Why is Gavin Newsome, who's complicit in this collapse, not in handcuffs as well? Understand, this is not political. This is national security. This is sedition. And Los Angeles, it's not falling apart by accident. It's being lit on fire at the hands of Karen Bass.